I think in Elden Ring, we all had a very similar experience in discovering the undead Wandering Nobles. I think most of us didn't know they were called the Wandering Nobles until we looked it up, or we found it in the object descriptions. I think that moment is near the bridge in Limgrave, just before you enter the bridge. There are 3 Wandering Nobles walking back and forth from the bridge. One of them is leading the charge, they have a torch ahead of them, and if you go near them, they will attack you. And sure enough, that happened to me. But I noticed something on my first playthrough, and it kind of shocked me. When I killed the leader, the one with the torch, the other 2 ran away. They were terrified of me. I was this monstrous tarnish that had just killed their leader, and they were defenseless, and they were groaning, and I felt terrible for them. I would approach them, and they would cower. They would beg for me not to kill them. On my first playthrough, I didn't kill them. Later on, I eventually would, because I needed the runes. That's beside the point. And if you go further down the bridge, you'll find 2 giants carrying a giant coffin carriage with Wandering Nobles following them. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't actually follow the coffin the whole way through because I'm 40 hours in, I've just beaten Rennala, and I don't have time to follow a carriage right now. But it got me thinking, because I felt a great deal of empathy for these undead guys. Every time I saw them, a part of me just sank. Even when they attacked me, I felt bad. Most of the times they won't attack you, they'll just dig in the ground or do whatever they're doing. And the undead seem to be all across the map, not just as Wandering Nobles, but as corpses, or putrid corpses more specifically. In fact, recently I decided to go back to the bit just before where you start, the island before, because I realised I hadn't discovered like a whole section. So I just went back and I went to the beach, and on the beach I found this swarm of putrid corpses, these zombies, and I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. I kind of thought, and this might sound a bit daft, but I thought, what a lovely little community they've got. Now, I don't know if these wandering corpses think, I don't know if they have thought properly, but if their brain is anything like their body, then it's probably decaying, right? See, the wandering corpses, they have a purpose. They walk on in search of something. This is kind of found in the object descriptions, and also, I won't lie to you, I have seen a few shorts that have just turned up because, surprise surprise, my algorithm is now very full of Elden Ring stuff. They walk around in search of something. They're fleeing the capital city that they came from. God knows what they're looking for. They've been searching for so long after the shattering that they're forced into this pitiful existence of never dying. They are undead, literally. They can't die. And what I thought when I saw these undead on the beach is, yeah, what a lovely community. And I also thought, if they're wandering aimlessly, if they're looking for something, if they're trying to get away from the capital city after the shattering, they must think that the beach that they're on now is quite literally the edge of the world. And they've probably gathered there because that's the furthest they think they can go. And that thought blew my mind a bit. There is this sadness to the undead, this genuine kind of heartbreaking just sadness to them. They clearly don't want to be alive, but as I said, these undead, from what I can tell so far, I haven't finished the game, I'm going up to the Carian Manor now.
That is why I say, Tarnished, don't go near the manor unless you wish to lie with the corpses of the heedless knights of the cuckoo.
Do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway.
They're clearly around everywhere after the shattering, and I just feel really bad for them. Sometimes I just won't attack them unless they attack me first, but I tend to leave them alone now. I know that it started off as fleeing from the shattering, but I don't know how they ended up the way they did. I haven't seen an explanation for it. They just seem to have fallen into this undeadedness. But what does strike me is that compared to the gods and monsters that you find around the map, compared to all these things that want to kill you and stuff, these people, these undead people, are more or less normal people. They don't seem to be warriors. They don't seem to be monsters. They were once just normal people. Well, I say normal, they were aristocrats, and I don't know if they're normal. There was nothing particularly special about them, and that's what makes them stand out. I came back in notes this time, but I wrote down what it says on the aristocrat guards. It says, they abandoned their birthplace after the shattering and are now the pitiful product of undying life. And it definitely is pitiful. There's no doubt about that. The way they moan, move, cry, walk, run. It's all just a sad sight to see. I'm a writer. I am a fiction writer. I've recently finished my science fiction novel. Still looking for a literary agent. I want to get it published. If anybody's watching this, please help. A lot of my short stories, I've noticed, this is entirely by accident, have been very focused on graves and dying. Clearly that matters to me. The idea of dying and leaving behind things that matter or that you thought mattered and becoming just a shriveled shell. So with the undead in Elden Ring, I feel quite drawn to them. I really feel for them. But interestingly, if you go to the graves in Elden Ring, the corpses that come out of those graves are actually quite aggressive, and a lot of them have weapons, but they come out and they're pissed off that you've woken them up, and they will attack you, and when they die, they will come back up unless you strike them down again. There is nothing sympathetic about these corpses. They are hostile, and they fucking want you to know it. Now, this theme of the undead, it all kind of came to fruition, it all started to make sense to me at Raya Lucaria. Raya Lucaria is riddled with putrid corpses and wandering nobles. Who knows why? Maybe they left the capital after the shattering, found themselves in Raya Lucaria, and recognised that Rennala was powerful, or were drawn to the sorcery that was there. Who knows? I don't know. But either way, there are definitely undead people birthed there, I guess. Is birth the right word for undead? Seeing Rennala, that was when it really clicked. Especially the introductory scene that you get with her. That introduction scene... It creeped me out, dude. It was fucking weird. You walk in and there are these, and there's no easy way to say this, I'm really sorry, but paraplegic girls. And they're all just kind of on the floor, and they grab you, they're singing, they can't really talk properly. Meanwhile, Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon, has clearly created these masses of children, essentially. And again, similar to the Wandering Nobles, I feel very sorry for them. But they seem quite happy to be alive. Rennala keeps saying that they will be born anew as her Sweetings. She was married to... I can't remember his name. I'll put the name here. And... yeah. And then after the shattering, she couldn't have children anymore. She became obsessed with trying to create these new children. Every single time she created them, it seemed to be an absolute mess. It always failed. They were very short-lived, but she kept doing them. She kept bringing them back. The world of Elden Ring is absolutely obsessed with bringing back the undead and forcing them to be alive, dragging them through the mud, making them live. And Rennala is just a symptom of that. She is desperate. She is obsessed with bringing back these people, well, these kids. Their lives are suffering, but they seem happy to be doing it because it gives them a purpose. Have you noticed that everything that's alive or undead seems to have a sense of purpose in what it does? Even the ones at the beach, they're clearly there for a reason. The Wandering Nobles, they're there for a reason. The Putrid Corpses that attack you in Raya Lucaria, they're there for a reason, and they will attack you with a lot of fucking purpose. The world of Elden Ring is a slow apocalypse. I don't know if you noticed, but it's not a very nice world to live in. I don't think you would want to live in there. It doesn't feel very nice. Everything in there is out to kill you and get you. It's a fucking nightmare in there, man. In fact, at some point, you will hear a woman singing opera, and you will find that woman turning out to be a woman-shaped bat who is clearly sad to be alive and in the form that she is, and she will attack you because that's all she seems to know. In the lead up to this video, I asked some of you what your thoughts were on the undead, whether it's the walking nobles, the putrid corpses, or even the Sweetings. I wanted to get your thoughts and then include them in the video. A couple of you commented, so I'm going to read them out now and we'll go through them. Nightmare's Kin said, the Wandering Nobles were probably the first thing in Elden Ring that made me pause and feel a sense of tragedy. I still often take a second to watch them walk by or watch them dig. They wander aimlessly for eternity and are the weakest enemies in the game. They've always fascinated me and I've never been sure why. Maybe that insecure part of me that feels lost without my big brother. Elden Ring was his favourite game of all time, and I sympathise with them. Definitely, I think when you're grieving someone, I think seeing grief in an abstract, fantastical way can really exaggerate those feelings, especially something like the Wandering Nobles, because usually zombies are quite terrifying. They're out to kill you and out to eat you, which the Putrid Corpses kind of are, but the Wandering Nobles specifically, there is a lot of sadness to them, and I think when you're already grieving, or if you're already depressed or anxious or whatever, and you see something that embodies that, you can take a lot of fascination towards them, and I think that's probably why I feel the same as well. I hope you're doing okay. I'm really sorry about your big brother. And here's the rest of your comment. You said, and Rennala, aka Banana Head Egg Lady, fantastic name, is possibly the most tragic character in it, as she feels so broken that she can do nothing but cradle the egg and feel broken by grief that she seems to refuse to move on from. Yes, 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 absolutely. And I'm going to follow that on with another comment from New Player XL, who said, it just crossed my mind that the Sweetings may very well be the happiest being in this damn land, ironically. Yes. I touched on this briefly earlier. Isn't it strange how the Sweetings, who are these short-lived people who can't walk properly and can't leave the Academy of Rea Lucaria, isn't it interesting that they're the happiest ones? Maybe it's because they are essentially children and they are innocent and they are just happy to be around. Like when they look up at you, yeah, it's creepy, but it's also a bit like a toddler. None of them seem angry or like they want to hurt you. They just seem like kids playing, and yeah, I think it's very interesting that they are the happiest ones. So much like the Undead, the world of Elden Ring is desperate for purpose, desperate to exist. It keeps going even though it's kind of depressing. It's still desperate to exist, just like Rennala is desperate for her purpose. I do really feel for the undead, and I have to wonder why. Why is it that I really feel for them? And maybe it's because, just like them, I have this sense of purpose that I don't know if I'm ever fully going to be able to achieve all the time. Whether it's creating art, creating videos like this, creating stories that I love, playing video games, trying to get a job, trying to do all of these things. I'm desperate for a purpose. And I know that I have a calling. I know that what I want to do is create things and make people feel. But sometimes it does feel like I'm just wandering and stumbling through it and not really understanding where I'm meant to be. If you do anything in life, and if you really care about it, no matter how hard it is, at points it will feel very drawn out and very futile, and you're just going to want to give up. And it's very understandable that you do. But if you've got that burning desire to do something, if you've got that drive, and if you're watching this and you feel like you don't have one, you don't have a purpose, you don't have a drive, I promise you, you do. You do have a purpose. You just haven't figured it out yet. I know that sounds a bit cliche, but trust me, you do have a purpose. And if you don't chase the purpose that you feel like you have, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. The world of Elden Ring feels like a shadow of a society. And in that world of monsters, disgraced demigods, ugly demi-humans, powerful sorcerers, undead people, wild animals that are out to kill you, a world where everyone and everything is out to attack and get you, you might wonder why you should continue on in that world. Why would you bother? What's the point in carrying on in an old and cursed world like this? You could kind of say the same about, well, you could say the same about real life. Why the fuck should you bother trying in this late stage capitalist world, this world that feels like it's decaying, that people are after you, whether it's in real life or an anonymous brave TikTok comment just trying to eat at you, whether it's a horrible experience at home or at work or just in life in general, or maybe the news is depressing you, it can feel like everything is decaying. Why would you want to bother in a world like that? Why? What's the purpose? What's the point? What makes this world worth living in? I'll tell you why. It's because you, Tarnished, are in this world. You are in it. And I would much rather live in a world where you exist. And when I look at those wandering nobles and undead, I really feel for them, because we as people are just wanderers. That's all we can do. We're wandering and navigating through this weird life that we live. That helps me get up in the morning. Sometimes I do have mornings where I just don't want to get up. I physically can't do it. But thoughts like that, thoughts about the fact that I have people that care about me and that I have people who I care about, that's my take on the undead in Elden Ring. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment if you enjoyed it. The last video on Elden Ring did really well, and reading some of the comments about how much it resonated with you, it really warmed my heart. What I eventually want to do with this channel is build a community of people who care about art, who care about video games, who care about films, who care about TV shows, anything, and I want to be able to talk about how it made us all feel. I'm not really bothered about going into deep analysis. Sure, I probably will do some of that. I probably will do a few little video essays every now and then, but the main point of this channel is to talk about how something made you feel and how you interpreted it and the impact something had on your life. And I want it to be a space where we can openly talk about that kind of stuff without arguing, without being a dick, without it turning into a horrible comment section. I just want to be able to have a nice conversation and make it feel like a safe space. I don't like that word, but I want it to feel like a decent place people can talk. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah. See you on the other side, brother.